estate, let's get it done. Clicks and reviews, we're number one. Reputation's key, we'll show you how. AI's the future, the time is now.
Welcome to Google for Real Estate. I'm Derek Bixler, real estate agent, outdoor adventure sportsman, volunteer firefighter, local SEO guy, and Google Gemini AI geek. Let's get into it. What do we got here? Well, I guess I'll pause and see. And we have a couple people on stage that don't always come on stage. So I will definitely pause today and see if anybody has any issues with Google Business Profile, Google Ads, local services ads, websites, article writing, using Gemini AI, anything Google, or any wins. Wins are also welcome. So I'll pause for a second if anybody has anything. Hello, Sheila.
Good morning. I don't have any specific questions, but I have not given my Google business page attention in a while. So I thought I would join you for a refresher and get me motivated. Thank you.
Well, that in itself is a great ad because you definitely don't want to neglect your Google business profile. And I used to see 0 disablements, and a disablement is worse than a suspension, and it's pretty much, you're probably going to have to remove the thing. There are steps to take, but a disablement happens a lot of time from neglect. It could be from doing bad things over and over again and failing steps and whatnot, but it could also be like, this business isn't here anymore. We haven't heard from them. So neglect, you definitely don't want to let that happen. And even if you're not getting disabled or suspended or something, it's not good for ranking for sure. I'm sure if you only waited, I'd say even just a couple months, for sure there would be a holiday that you didn't say you were open or closed on in your dashboard. But they come out with like new parking attributes and new things. And if you haven't been in there for a few months, there are probably suggested changes that they have for you and maybe new features that you haven't addressed that they probably sent you an email to address. Like when the parking thing comes out, they send you an email that says, are your business settings correct? You might want to verify them. There's 2 reasons you would get that email: because you haven't been in there for a while and they're just like, yo, check your settings so we know that all your stuff is still correct. But they'll also send the same email when they add a new feature, even if your profile is the bomb, which is kind of frustrating. I wish they would say, hey, there's a new parking attribute that we'd like you to fill out. But you usually just, like, if I get that email or any of my clients get that email, I'm like, oh, there must be a new feature to say yes or no to or whatever. But neglect, definitely don't want to let that happen. The easiest way to rectify that is obviously do stuff, get reviews, reply to the reviews, be in your dashboard, add photos, all the things I always talk about. But the other thing that I just officially added to my weekly checklist is clicking on the edit profile tab and the edit services tab. Those 2 tabs are all your settings. All the other things are bells and whistles. Doesn't mean they don't matter, especially reviews and photos, but those 2 are your main settings. So every week or whenever I'm in there replying to a review or adding a photo or something, you just simply click on those 2 tabs one at a time and just scroll through it real quick to see if there's any issues, any new features, any special hours, holiday hours you need to address. It literally takes 5 seconds to do it. And then you go over to the edit services tab, same thing there. And those are just services. So that's going to be a real quick scan, but sometimes they suggest changes in there, usually based off of your website. So those 2 tabs, the main settings, just click on them, scroll through them once a week, at least once a month is good, because then they have record of, even if you didn't change anything, they have record of, oh, this person is routinely in their dashboard. They're clicking on the settings. We can trust this business and all their contact info and their reviews and everything that comes out of this business. So yeah, stay on top of all that stuff. And it doesn't take a lot of time. You just literally click and scan through those 2 as quick as you possibly can. Stopping at the special hours usually is what I do. Anybody else have anything? Feel free to come up. Anybody else? Pull up my list of stuff here. Feel free to interrupt too.
I'm sorry. There's a question in the chat by someone who has to run, and I Looks like
Oh,
he might have already ran. I don't.
okay. I see one from
Oh, Kim.
Kim.
Yeah, Kim. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, yeah. Cool. Hi, Derek. I don't have long before I blah, blah, blah. Question. If you get a message that there's something wrong with your page and it's not public, what do you do? There's no info on what is wrong. Well, it depends who that message came from, because there's a lot of spammers out there that will send text messages. They will call you. I get at least 5 to 10 calls a day of the "you're not verified, your business isn't verified," because I have multiple Google business profiles for myself. And I guess they wouldn't call me for other people's because that wouldn't be my number. But yeah, I get calls all day long. So if it's spam like that, and you might get emails and all kinds of stuff regarding that. So if it's from someone like that, then you just forget it and move on, pound sand. If it is from Google, or if you're not sure it's from Google, either way, I'm not going to click on that email, especially if it says appeal. Do not click that if you're suspended and the thing says appeal. Don't do that till you talk to me. But if you're wondering what is up with what's the status of your profile, you got a message that, hey, there's something wrong with your profile, you just go to your profile dashboard and Google will tell you right there. If you need to verify, it will say get verified. If you are suspended, that will be very obvious too. It will say suspended. If you're disabled, you probably won't even be able to find the profile. Usually you can find it by going to business.google.com. Business.google.com always takes you to your business profile, or if you have multiple, it would take you to a list of them, and then you click on the one you want to manage. So it depends on where that message comes from, but ultimately, if you want to, after a while, you're going to know which ones are for sure spam and garbage and BS, and which ones are actually from Google. And it should be fairly obvious for theirs too, for Google, which ones are actual. Except there are lead generation companies that send the email like, "We have this lead in Mechanicsburg for you from Google," and it totally looks like Google. They use a Google logo and all the stuff, and it's for sure not Google and not from Google. So even stuff that might look like it might not be. So just go to your dashboard and check it firsthand. And if it says get verified, you're going to have to do the video. And if you're suspended, a little bit different. It's a form. So that should be Kim's answer. And she's not here to dive deeper. Anybody else have follow-ups to that or anything else? Hello, Terry. Hello, Lena. All right. Google and CapCut ByteDance in parentheses partnership. So I just noticed yesterday, I think it was CapCut's Instagram that posted it, and it was just a picture of CapCut and Gemini. So Gemini is coming to the CapCut app and software to obviously help with generating videos and images. And it can do all kinds of other stuff now. You can have text, and if you use Google Flow to make videos, there's actually like different texts you can pick, kind of like in a regular video editor. Like, I want a title that looks like this, and what animation do you want, and everything. And it's not as involved as the other apps, but they are starting, like, their models can do that stuff. So Gemini coming to the CapCut app, I would guess. Why wouldn't it also extend over to TikTok? But I think TikTok, from my research, if this is correct, CapCut is still owned mostly by ByteDance, which is the Chinese company. And if somebody knows differently, interject or comment on my content wherever you're listening or seeing it. And TikTok is mostly owned by an American company called TikTok, blah, 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 US something LLC or whatever. So technically not the same owners of the two things. So I don't know if it would come to TikTok if that is the case, but pretty cool. And it shows that so many keep adopting Google and Gemini. They are not adopting ChatGPT. They are not adopting Claude. Maybe it's because those models don't want to play or don't have the infrastructure to play or do the things. But I know for sure ChatGPT wanted a deal with Apple to be theirs. But Apple, Gemini, all their AI will be powered by Gemini on the back end. CapCut partnering with Gemini and Google, not ChatGPT or X or Grok or Claude. Robotics companies, usually for robots in factories and things. Usually those are proprietary, or a lot of the big ones also run on Gemini. So Google, just huge and hard to F with. So this is more evidence of that. And I don't know, I didn't see it. I do use CapCut, but I'm never thinking when I'm editing a video in CapCut that, hey, I need an AI generated thing to put in here. So I haven't noticed if it's actually in there yet. Actually, I'm pulling it up now. AI avatars, which you can do straight in Gemini now. If you missed last week's episode or 2 weeks, whenever that was, you can make your AI avatar with Gemini now. I would use your phone to do it. Pretty simple to do, same as all the other ones, and it sounds like you too. And then you can call it into videos whenever you want to. Smart ads, AI fashion model. So it looks like there is some AI stuff in there, but I haven't played with it too much. And there is no AI generator, AI story maker. So there's a bunch of stuff, whether that's previous stuff or that's the actual Gemini stuff. I would guess not, because they just said it. So I would guess it's not in there yet, but we shall see. Pretty cool. New icons. So if you're a Google head like me and you got all your row of icons in your Chrome browser, of course, lined up there, you will notice that slowly, and they didn't all happen at once, but over the last couple weeks, kind of since the Google I/O, the big conference, the icons have been changing. So the calendar now has a little, looks like the day, like mine says 26, a little square. That one's different. Google Sheets has a new one. Google Keep, which is their notes app, has one. Google Docs looks slightly different, pretty much the same as it was. Forms looks the same for right now. Let me click on it and refresh and see if that one changes. Nope. So your icons, you might notice that they have changed. Oh yeah, Google AI Studio also, that changed from some stupid black square thing to it's like a colorful S thing. So you can tell they're trying to make that a little bit fancier. And then I feel like Google Flow since Google Flow is getting more prominent and being its own thing, if it got its own logo now, I feel like it did. It's not showing here on my phone. It does have an icon. So anyway, you might notice that some icons have changed with Google. They've also changed the look of Gemini. I think I talked about that last week, but if you use the Gemini app a lot, you'll notice that it's still similar, but there are some pretty significant changes in how you set stuff up. Ooh, and I didn't write this on my list, and I don't think I mentioned it last week. Maybe I did, but it's worth mentioning again. You can now, when you make gems, you can attach notebooks, which I look at as kind of, they're either information storage or they are experts that I'm calling in to do something, or my notebooks. Either so it's a knowledge base or an expert. And you used to be able to, so if I wanted to make like a home valuation gem, I would make a gem and then you could attach PDFs to it, but there was a limit to like 5 or maybe 10 or something, but there's a limit. And then, which was too limiting for what I wanted to do. And you could not expand on that. So you kind of had what you had, and that's what you had. You can't call in websites in there yet, I don't believe, or do all the other stuff that you can in Notebook LM to pull in a bunch of sources and information and everything. So you would have to build the gem, and then you would have to build a notebook. And the notebook is where you really put all the stuff. In the gem, you put like the most important core things that the gem needs to do and know. But in the notebook is where you would compile all the stuff. And then anything you want, anytime I wanted to do anything, I would use the gem, attach the notebook, and then talk with it, have it do whatever I want to do in the Gemini chat. which worked okay, but obviously it's an extra step and kind of a pain in the butt. But now you can attach a notebook to a gem. And I've noticed that I can't go back to old gems and add a notebook unless they've changed that. So for ones that I want to update, I have to delete that gem, then make a new one. But then when I make a new one, it will give me the option to attach a notebook. And I think multiple. I've only attached one notebook so far to the ones I've added. So, but I'm guessing you could. And then you could obviously call in notebooks at will if you wanted to. So you could have like a home valuation expert gem that has the home valuation / appraiser, whatever notebook attached to it. So it is the expert know-it-all about appraisals and what you want it to know and how you want it to act. But then if you want to chat with that gem and say, I don't want to do an appraisal, I want to write an article about appraisals. So now I need a writing expert to help me write properly. So then you might call in your Google helpful content checklist expert and your some other kind of writing and copywriting for dummies notebook that you have. So then you can call in side experts to help with certain tasks. So that was pretty exciting when I saw that, because I do use that fairly often. Once I have a notebook, I prefer to attach it and chat with Gemini about the notebook. And all your notebooks are also available in Gemini now on the side panel, rather than going to the notebook and talking in there, because that sometimes you want to, because it only has access to that information in there. But it's so good now that I'd rather it has the access to all the stuff, and it knows, like, base it on that stuff. But also you're allowed to go look out, and if you need to find something out or find a source or change something or find out something's incorrect or whatever it needs to do, it's pretty smart. So I prefer kind of to do stuff in Gemini. Obviously, if I'm creating audio overviews and video overviews and data tables and all that stuff that's in Notebook LM, you got to jump over there to do that stuff. But for a lot of things, I like to just attach it. And Gemini will scan it better also. That's another tip. So in my, say, firefighting notebook, I put everything in there that has anything to do with my station or me or whatever. And a lot of the stuff is just images of, like, if there's something posted on the wall that I want all my stuff to know, I'll just take a picture of it and throw it into Notebook LM. And technically, Notebook LM should be able to read that and read it, but it sucks at that. And even if you specifically say, make sure you scan the images and look at that information also, it's still not as good. But if I attach that notebook to a gem or just to a regular Gemini chat and say, hey, and ask a question that I know is in one of those images, it will pull it out. And then I asked Gemini, well, why did you find that and Notebook didn't? And Gemini basically said, because I look at that stuff kind of automatically and better. It's more multimodal and scans better than Notebook would without directing it to be a little bit more thorough. So I found that interesting. And obviously this could have changed overnight and you could go try it and maybe it's different. But that's another reason I prefer to use Gemini to do things. Unless, again, it's those deliverables like the outputs in Notebook LM. What else we got here? Review pages. Somebody was talking about review pages yesterday. I've talked about them a million times, but obviously you should have a reviews page on your website for multiple reasons. One is so that people have a place to go and read all your reviews rather than just one or two that are inserted or some scrolling thing on your homepage or other pages, which you should have, but there should be some dedicated page where there are a whole bunch of reviews displayed in different ways: scrolling, not scrolling, images, not images, long form, short form, kind of singles, kind of triples, and just, slap 10 to 20 reviews on a page and display them in a bunch of different ways. And also you want to explicitly, again, call out how many reviews you have, which platforms you have them on, links to those platforms, and the total number of reviews. I like to do a over kind of thing or a plus. So I'm just at, I think I need one more to be able to say 175 plus. All my stuff is sitting at 165 plus, but I just noticed I had some reviews on, I think realtor.com maybe. So I was like, oh, sweet. There's like 9 on there. So now I need one more to get it up to 175. But then once I get there, I'll change all my stuff to say 175 plus or over 175, and then probably wait 5 or 10 to keep changing it. So I'm not changing that total every time. Same with on each one. Like I'm not changing the check out all 103 Google reviews here. If I get 104, well, maybe because I'm anal, I might go in and change it. But for most people, I wouldn't be that anal and go in there and change it. Or maybe I would just change it to 100 plus or over 100 Google reviews here or whatever. But you definitely want to be calling that out and have it as up to date as possible without making it cumbersome and insane to manage and be in there all the time. So that other people can see how many. If they just look at your Google, I would have 103. But if they looked at all my stuff, there's another almost 100. There's another 75 out there that they might have missed. So it's good to have those on there for people and for AI. And we've talked about how things like ChatGPT can't see the number of reviews on your Google business profile, but if you're calling it out on your website, then it can see that. It can also, if you sign up for Bird Eye and Experience.com and those kind of aggregators, ChatGPT, Claude, they can see the number of Google reviews via that also. So your reviews page helps all the AIs know exactly how many reviews you have and where they are. You don't want to, they will find most of that stuff, but you don't want to give it up to chance. You can't, especially with Google, that part of it, you definitely don't want to leave that one up to chance, but any of them, I don't want to leave it up to ChatGPT to find all the good stuff about me. I want to make it dummy proof that right here is all the stuff that makes me awesome in one nice page. You could even have case studies on reviews pages, long form stories about deals on reviews pages. You obviously don't want to drone on forever. And if it's multiple paragraphs, you should probably have some, well, you should have images in there anyway, but images breaking it up and things. But longer paragraphs and things are good too. And that's rich content and telling all the AIs that I work with downsizers. And here's a case study right here in the place I'm trying to rank for with downsizers, yada, yada. And there's a picture of downsizers there. So case studies can double as reviews. So have a reviews page, do all that stuff. And it's also a good place to send clients and things and put your QR code. Most people put a QR code to their Google reviews, but again, that's not all of your reviews likely. You want them to see your Zillow, all the ones. So put a QR code to the reviews page on your website. And then also that doubles as getting traffic to your website. Google and all the things track, especially Google, mainly Google, track. There is no OpenAI analytics that everybody has on their website. So, but Google and Google also, the number one browser in Chrome, is tracking what websites people go to, how much time they spend there, are people going here, period. So if you're sending people to your Google business profile, well, that's kind of good too, because that's a signal if people are going there, that'll help that rank better. But holistically, when your website ranking will help your Google business profile in turn. So if you can send people to your website instead, now you're pushing traffic to your website. And even if it's not 1 million people going to your website, before it was 0, and now it's 10. And even 10 can kind of start a little wave. Oh, somebody's interested in this. We'll move it up to the second page, or it's on the first page, but ranking last. And then somebody else clicks on it and they kind of spend some time there. Maybe they even click some buttons and call you now. Oh, well, other people are looking for this business, seeking this business out. Also, searchers like this business and are clicking on it. We'll move them up a little bit more. So these are all signals that Google in particular is watching. So again, and this will go into my next thing I'm going to talk about actually unintentionally. Again, if you can house as much stuff on your website and send everybody to a page on your website, the better. Not just because your other stuff is there and whatever. And usually you can turn that off too. If you want it to be a landing page, most website builders allow you to turn navigation off, turn the footer off, turn everything off to essentially make it a landing page if you really wanted to do that. So as much as possible, even my Calendly, that is an embed on my website. If you get a 15-minute discovery call link, and hopefully I updated the one that is above here. Yes, searchbomb.com. Even that, I could send you right to my Calendly link, but I don't. I send you to a page on my website, which shows clicks to my website, which then can help my ranking, etc. So putting things on your website as much as possible and using your website for all the things and the one stop to put everything is the best way to do it, especially when it's things people are going to click on. Like people are going to that discovery call. I would be a fool not to put the discovery call thing on my website. Same with if I knew something was happening a lot with some link I was sending out for real estate for whatever. Example would be a property listing, then I should have that on my website and get that traffic on my website and all the stuff seeing that traffic on my website. And those people that are going there purposely, like the people for a discovery call or a person that's kind of like you had a meeting with them and now you're sending them to look at your reviews. They're there looking at your reviews. They're going to peruse it more than just a rando from realtor near me looking at your page. They're also likely to click on your listing services page and read that and see if it matches and I want to look at that again. I forget what she said or whatever. So it's also when you send people there, it's going to be people that are probably going to spend more time there and click on more things and take more actions and convert more than randos coming your way off of Google, which then helps you get the randos more because you show up more for those people. So keeping everything on your website. I didn't mean this episode to be about that, but I think that'll be what this will be about. Which I've done a million times. But so reviews pages we talked about, that should be on your website and all the things we talked about. And by the way, if you don't have a scrolling widget, I made a scrolling, and you could do it in Claude or Codex, OpenAI or whatever. Gemini's pretty great, and they're all going to have nuances and be able to do the things that most of us are doing for the most part. So I don't think some might be better at certain things than others, but if you are prompting it what you want things to look like and your style and giving it examples and updating your prompts as you go each time you do it, I like it this way, don't do that, then you can get a lot of the same outputs out of the same thing. That's why I'm big on just like, I'm in Gemini. I don't really use anything else. I'm just going to learn how to use Gemini as good as possible. I do go to Claude every once in a while. Rarely ChatGPT. So anyway, next thing we're going to talk about is keeping the things on your website, and everybody talking about Gamma, and then also what I'm talking about, vibe coding and creating. You can create a web page on Gemini or Claude or all kinds of things. If you do it in Gemini, I haven't done a lot in Claude or ChatGPT, but if you do it in Gemini, you can then, I'm guessing you can do it with the others as well. You can then publish it to the public very easily. Once you go back and forth and get it the way you want it, you can then publish it and share a link and anybody can see it. It does have some like Google AI labeling on it that's not very obtrusive, and if it's not a real serious thing, doesn't matter all that much. There are ways to actually publish it for real, which I wouldn't even mess around with or complicate it with that unless you were going hardcore with stuff. But if you're vibe coding and creating these web pages or Gamma, I would consider that a form of vibe coding. You go there and tell a thing, I want this thing, and then the AI researches it or takes the information you give it and then builds a thing out of code. essentially. And then you have a website. If you use Gamma, the thing is there. You send people to Gamma. Your guide is on Gamma. Instead, and I don't, if anybody uses Gamma and can interject and tell me, I'm guessing, I mean, they would have to have this feature. If they don't have this feature, it would be insane that you can, instead of using like the Gamma landing page that just publish it there and send people there, you can get the HTML code to put on your own website. I'm guessing they do it. You can for sure do it with Gemini and Claude and OpenAI and all the other vibe coding specialty apps, Cursor and all the other ones. So you can generate this web page on all these things, Gamma, Gemini, whatever, and then you could just send people there, or you could put it on your website. So the easiest way to do that, and it is super easy, every website builder has it. So if I'm going to put, say, a guide, I made a guide, I went to Gemini and I said, create me a guide to all the playgrounds and parks and I guess playgrounds and parks in fields, or I don't know what else. I feel like I'm missing something. Sports facilities, maybe tennis courts, pickleball courts, all that kind of stuff, playgrounds, a full and comprehensive ultimate guide to playgrounds and yada, yada in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Make me this thing. And then it makes the thing. And then I want to put that on my website rather than publishing it on Google or wherever I am and wasting valuable SEO authority by sending people to something. I want to put it on my own website, and you can get pretty much the same result on your website as that thing. So you just ask it for, I want HTML. So specifically, you would go to Gemini, click Canvas. That's where you would build something. And then you say, write me my guide, blah, blah, blah. You could upload your own sources. I think you can add notebooks. Yep, you can add notebooks to it. So if you have a bunch of stuff in notebooks, you can add it to it for guide. So you can make a notebook for your playgrounds guide, research, deep research, add all your stuff, maybe go take pictures, blah, blah, blah. So you have some experts. So you come in here, you click Canvas, because that's what you would use to build something in Gemini. And then you would attach your notebook or your documents, or just let it do it. It will do a pretty fantastic job. I just asked it to do a playground guide, and I was amazed by what it came up with. Obviously, would have to look at it deeper and probably something it missed, but I would never have known any of that stuff. It was pretty amazing. So tell it what you want. I want a guide for this, looks like this, blah, blah, blah. And then tell it I want it in HTML to insert into a custom HTML block on and this is important, tell it my WordPress website or my Squarespace website or whatever, Wix, Lofty, whatever it is, it should be able to know what you're talking about. Or if it doesn't, obviously it can go look it up, what is Lofty, and then on the back end know what it is. So tell it, I need HTML custom code. I need this in HTML to insert as custom code, blah, blah, blah. It will then know. It will then generate the thing. You'll see it just like all the other apps. You'll see it. You can then chat back and forth, change this, add this, do this, remove this. Do that. You can even draw on it. There's a little edit button and you can click on it and note take and like arrows and circle things. And that actually works because it can see images and do all those things. So you can edit it right there. And then once you're happy with it, you just click on the code button. There's a toggle, code or preview. You just click on the code, you copy said code and you paste it onto your website. And it's literally just you create a page on your website for that thing. So the page would be called Ultimate Guide to Parks and blah, 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 and would be set up like any other page. And then instead of putting text and photos and putting the actual guide, me writing it out or whatever, you could, which is still better in my opinion, but if you want to do the HTML route, this is fine too, and could get you some prettier things that without being a coding developer, you would never be able to make. But you just, instead of putting stuff, you just insert one custom HTML code block. You paste that HTML in there. you save that page, and now you go preview that page and you make sure it's good. So sometimes it will make errors, and you'll see that it something's weird about the footer, or there's some spacing that it messed up or something. So you definitely want to check them in case something like that's happening. Or sometimes you'll see that and you'll say, hey, there's space, and why is that there? Get rid of that. And it usually can figure it out too, especially if you give it pictures of the things. But a lot of times it'll say like, oh yeah, sorry, I made it for this app or Squarespace or Wix, but you're on WordPress and your site is configured this way, so we need to do it this way. My apologies. So you definitely want to check it, make sure everything's working properly. Might take a few back and forth, or it might work right out of the box. Usually it does. I mean, they're really, really good at it these days. Insert it, save the page, and now it's right there. And now you can send people to that page for that guide, for that listing presentation, for that whatever you just built. You can send them to your website to view that thing instead of somewhere else. And again, that's going to be somebody that's number one, it's traffic from 0 to at least a few people going to that page or to your website. And then beyond that, it's also, again, people that will spend time on your website and click on things and view it. If it's a home valuation or a parks guide that you just sent to your relocation client because they specifically asked about parks in the area, they're going to look at that thing. They're going to open it and they're going to look at it and they're going to click on it, and they probably click on some links to I like to include, make them actual good resources, click links over to the Google business profile for the park so they can see images. If you went and took your own images, they're in there, which that part of vibe coding is a little bit tricky. I don't think I'll get into that right now, but you will notice when you vibe code, you don't get images. Definitely not the images you asked for. Sometimes they'll generate other images, but they will not be your images usually unless you dictate it a certain way. But that's going to be somebody that's going to spend time on your website and click on stuff and peruse and be there for a while. Time on site and just traffic to your site, and probably maybe multiple pages of your site. So I would definitely try to, again, put everything on your website whenever possible. And again, it really is pretty easy. You build whatever tool you're out there learning about, Claude, Code, Gamma, Gemini, Vibe Coding, Cursor, any of the things. If you're doing that or learning about that, it seems insane not to learn how to use that tool to make your core website better and get all these benefits out of it, instead of sending people to all these fragmented different places, which do not compound and do not help you over time. It's just this fragmented different stuff everywhere. So big proponent of that. And it really is not hard to do. Every website builder has an insert custom HTML block on there. So please do that. And then the last thing I have here is, actually, should I pause there? I never pause after stuff, and that's kind of complicated. Does anybody have any questions about that? Inserting HTML code. And try it. Just try it. That's how you get good at the stuff. Just go do it. There's a lot of talking about stuff and not as much of just go do that. Where's the replay for that thing? Instead of watching that replay, even mine, maybe, instead of watching that hour replay on how to do X, just go over there and do it. And in an hour of just trying it a few times, you'll probably get more out of it. Anyway, okay. EXP is going to give the feed to Google as well. So I don't know how new this is. And from my research now, it sounds like some others might be following suit later in a Google. Well, I was at the gym earlier today and I was Googling it. I think I saw Remax and like some other big names mentioned in there that might be in talks to do the same thing. Previously, it was only what's that? MyStateMLS.com was the only way in, or as I understood it, the only way in to getting your houses, your listings on House Canary. And then House Canary has the deal to send the feed to Google, which has a name now. It's called Google's Come Home. I saw it the first time right now when I asked, is EXP going to give feed to Google as well? And in the last thing it says, and I'll read the whole thing to you, but Google's Come Home is what they're calling it, from this article anyway. And that's an article from EXP, BAM, Housing Wire, so all pretty reputable sources. But EXP now join House Canary and My State MLS. And I'll just read it here. Yes, EXP Realty feeds their active, and it says feeds. So do they already? Is anybody in EXP? Come up and talk to us, please, especially if you heard something. Yes, EXP Realty feeds their active and coming soon listings directly to Google. This is done on a non-exclusive basis through House Canary's consumer search portal, Come Home. So it's House Canary's consumer search portal called Come Home, but it's on, and then later it says Google's Come Home. So we'll see how it's displayed to people, and then that's how I'm going to judge who it's from. Here are the details of the integration. Visibility. EXP listings can appear directly at the top of mobile Google search results in select U.S. pilot markets. I could pull that up. It's not showing me right here. Lead routing. When users click on a listing in Google, they are directed to full property detail pages where they can contact the EXP agent or request a tour. So sounds like it's going direct to the listing agent, and no mention of selling leads or anything. For sure going to cost something to somebody at some point, pay to play, but it's nice to make it free and get everybody on it and then make everybody pay for it, kind of like they did with the Google business profiles. Not entirely, you can still win organically there, but it has changed significantly since inception. But lead routing will go to the EXP agent or request a tour, to contact them or request a tour. And then pre-marketing, EXP agents can submit coming soon listings to realtor.com, homes.com, and Google's Come Home to generate early demand. So I guess there's a deal with EXP and maybe realtor.com and homes.com. They didn't say Zillow in there. This AI overviews can be incomplete sometimes, so don't take it as gospel, but it does sound like EXP agents can get their coming soon listings on other platforms. I'm assuming without using the MLS, because that's what it's all about, is having like the back end things that we can still put out there to everybody. So I don't know how that's still an exclusive, but whatever. So Google's Come Home or / House Canaries Come Home, EXP has joined that. If anybody is in any of the cities, let me Google what cities are beta for House Canary Come Home home listing ads. All right, so if you're in any of these cities, I would love it if you would keep your eye out and maybe make a point of every once in a while, once or twice a week, search. I would guess you're going to search homes for sale near me, those kinds of, because that would make the most sense for listings to pop up in your face. If you were Googling like how to stage my house or some kind of other real estate query, that would not make sense to put houses in front of their face. So I don't think they would do that. But homes for sale near me, homes in city, home search, all that kind of stuff. keep an eye out, and maybe you'll see these. And if you do see them, take screenshots, send them to me, tell us about them. And if you can, if there's some kind of, I want to see, I've seen a screenshot, I've seen a couple screenshots of what it looks like in the display, like on the search results, but I have not seen what it looks like. And maybe I need to Google it again, what it looks like when you click onto one, or does it take you to a full search? Could you search for more houses? And now it's like similar to Zillow. I don't know why it wouldn't. If they've got a feed of all the houses, very easy to just put it into an actual same search. Very disruptive for Zillow. If this, I mean, maybe that's why all of them are doing this. I wonder if Ray will talk about this, I guess today at 1:00. I feel like he changed his time, 1:00, whatever. I'll have to watch and see if he talks about it, but very, very interesting. And I wonder if Zillow's stock is going down, because if Google had all the feeds from everybody, looks like it's starting to amass a bunch of them. And like I said, the other Googling I did sounded like maybe others are in the talks too. If they all start coming aboard, now Google it's got all the same stuff as Zillow for the most part. It does look like all brokerages. I did not see anything about any MLSs joining, so it's not like my Bright MLS is joining. But if I was with EXP, I suppose my stuff would go into Bright because I have to, and then the EXP feed would send over to House Canary, which would then put it on Google's Come Home, or House Canary's Come Home. So very, very interesting. That's pretty big news. You can just Google it and talk about it. Oh, I didn't read the markets. So the beta test is operating in the following metropolitan markets: Chicago. So Jessica, if you're listening, Chicago, hit it up. Do the searches, homes for sale in Chicago, homes for sale near me, that kind of thing. See if something pops up. Miami, we got Iris down there. I'm sure there's somebody else. So Iris, if you're listening, hit up the Miami, look there. Cleveland, who's that? Susan. If I can do one for each person, I'm going to be pretty darn great. Let me look here. Yay, yes, one. A couple I don't have somebody for. So far, pretty good. Cleveland, I think that's Sue Sloan, if I'm not mistaken. If you hear this and I'm wrong, tell me. If you hear this and I'm right, also tell me. Austin, we got Jennifer Goodman for sure. And I love Austin because that's one of the comedy capitals of the world now.
And me.
Brenda.
Yes.
Was that you? I'm not looking at it. Yeah. Sweet. I did not know that off the top of my head. I think I knew Texas, but not Austin. Are you Austin proper or outside of, or? Sweet. So now everybody will never forget. I will never forget. Have you Googled or anything? Or maybe while I'm talking, you could go on your phone or your computer and Google homes near me. I really doubt you're going to see it, but maybe you do. But you are explicitly, since you're here, you are tasked with keeping your eyes out specifically for something. And interject then if you do it and see something or don't see something. Greater New York City area. So we got Elkin Margala, who's on stage, I think I'm not looking at it again. Who else we got in the city? I know there are others. Pardon me if I'm not remembering, but those two for sure. Los Angeles. Don't have any that come to mind. San Diego, I want to say, what's his name? His name is like San Jose. His name is like a state or something. He's on Clubhouse. He used to come on a lot. I forget his name. Maybe I'll figure it out. But San Diego would be another market. Los Angeles, San Diego, and then San Francisco. So we got 3 out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 out of the 8 are California. San Francisco. And one does not come to mind for San Francisco area either. San Francisco Bay Area. I'm assuming that's the same thing as the San Francisco area, or maybe maybe that's smaller than the full San Francisco. Anyhow, if you're in any of those places, Chicago, Miami, Cleveland, Austin, greater New York City area, Los Angeles, San Diego, greater San Francisco Bay Area. I'm guessing actually that might include for greater New York City area. Does that include Long Island, where our friend Megan would be? Megan, if you're listening, keep your eyes peeled also. And then also you EXP people, we need you to report also. What have you heard? What have they told you? Is there a meeting coming up when they're going to tell you? Is there some dashboard you can tell us about, or any kind of information about what's happening or what it will look like, or any news? That would be greatly appreciated and awesome. And I will probably read more on the housing, read all these articles in greater detail, or maybe I'll just drop them into Notebook LM and then tell it to make me a nice podcast. And I saw now they'll probably drop this into Notebook LM soon in Google AI Studio. You can, in addition to a million other really, really awesome things, why won't it work for me? Okay, build with agents. So there's a models button and an agents button. Click on playground, blah, blah, blah. Nobody's going to do it anyway. But if you're doing it, click on playground. And then there's a new button called agents. You can do models, which has like speech to music, code, image generation, blah, 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 some stuff you can do. And then under agents, which is new, and agents, again, are things that do things for you, not real estate agents. If you click AI Talk Radio is one of the buttons, and you do have to pay for this. You can set up an API key. It's pretty easy, and it doesn't cost a lot to play around with. And nobody's going to do it, but usually things in Google AI Studio, this is like the heady place to go for Google to use kind of the same tools, but get little extra features and little better outputs. And sometimes you have to pay for stuff, and you see things before it's available on the regular Gemini app. Things that are released in here a lot of the times end up out there, like the music was only in Gemini AI Studio or in other weird places, and now it's right in the Gemini app. You can click it and use it. So in here, you can click the one called, what was it called? AI Talk Radio transforms a text source into a polished, simulated radio show with hosts, callers, and background music. So that sounds sick. They already had the podcast version, which had 2 people, and I think it was still only 2 people. Last time I tried it, I don't use that podcast feature a lot. If I do speech to text, you can select just one person there, but in the podcast things, I don't think you could have only one or more than one person. So this talk radio thing sounds awesome. It sounds more entertaining also. So I'm going to try to pay for it and try it a little bit and see how it works. And then the reason I'm mentioning is I could see it entering over into Notebook LM as maybe I should pull that up as I talk and make sure that it's not one of the things. Come over to Notebook LM. When you click audio overview, the little drop down, currently the selections, there's a format selector, deep dive, a brief, so a shorter one, a critique, an expert review of your sources offering blah, 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 a debate, a thoughtful debate with 2 hosts. So still just kind of the same thing in there, but I could see at some point if you clicked to customize your audio overviews, maybe there is a radio show version or button. Or maybe if you told it to do a radio show, it could, I bet it could kind of do it, but it would still maybe only be 2 people. I don't know. Worth a try maybe, but I could see that coming over here. Seems like a no-brainer. They test stuff over there and then bring it to the regular Gemini. So that is the last of what I have. And everybody has some to-dos today with the Google and showing listings and everything on there. Hopefully somebody can report back at some point, or I get some screenshots texted to me or something. So keep your eyes peeled for that stuff. And I think that's all I got. Anybody have any questions or anything else about anything? If not, I will let everybody go for an awesome Wednesday. And again, I think I'm going to watch. I always forget about Ray's show, which I think is still on Clubhouse, which I think is still Wednesdays at 1 or 2 o'clock. Replays are still on everywhere. Also YouTube. I think I usually watch on YouTube, but I'm going to watch that later today and see if he says anything and maybe comment on there and see what he thinks about EXP joining mystatemls.com in the Google thing, and then the others possibly coming on board. So have a great Wednesday, great hump day. Go sell something, get a review from whoever you sell it to, and peace out.
Thank you so much, Derek.
Thank you.
Reputation's key will show you how. AI's the future, the time is now. Google for real estate, let's go. Agents